This is Robert Frank, 615, and you're watching Muscle Sport TV, the most jacked and tan show on the fucking internet.
What's up, guys and girls? This is Dave Gois, one half of a whole here at Rough House TV, and this is going to be a very special interview, and we are here with Rhonda Lee Quaresma.
Hello, how are you?
So what we ended up doing was, I was working for Muscle Sport Mag, so I decided to do a Q&A. I asked all their subscribers, guys, go check out their videos, subscribe to Muscle Sport TV on YouTube. I asked all their subscribers to drop Rhonda some Q&A questions, and then over on my channel on Camerica Muscle, the same thing. Drop some questions, and I'm going to ask her, and she's going to answer. So before everything started, I asked her, you know, do you want to read them or not? So she was cool, and she was like, she didn't want to read them. So this is all spontaneous.
I did not read one.
Good.
Willpower.
Good, good, good. So I'm going to read them off as I got them, and these are all from Muscle Sport TV questions.
Okay.
Okay? So take your time with them. Feel free to answer however you want. This is from Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa gave you so many good questions.
Okay.
I enjoyed these. So thank you, Mona.
Thank you.
Question number 1. What's the relationship with you and other female muscle models?
The relationship, I guess personal relationship or general. I'm actually pretty quiet in terms of I kind of keep to myself, but I get along great with everybody. It's very, what do you call it? More of an acquaintance.
Okay, so you don't have like any solid friendships that you keep in constant contact
yes,
with?
Yes, I do. I have about 4 with the women, 2 bodybuilders. Michelle Brent is like one of my best friends, and then there's Kathy LaFrancois.
No kidding, Lee Priest's ex-wife.
Yeah.
Oh, so I told you guys I'm a huge bodybuilder man. Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Yes.
Oh, this. I'm sorry, I'm going to go off on a rant. We'll talk more about. I want to know about her.
Sure.
Question number 2. I'm a muscle chick. This is Mona, and she's wanted to get into modeling. She wants to know how to book shoots and sell her own image content via the internet. Any advice for her?
How to book shoots? Yes, I think how I got started was, of course, because I had won the Nationals back when. So once I started getting publicity, that's when people started noticing me. So that's one way, if you compete or she does something to get herself out there. There are also places like Model Mayhem, One Model Place, having her own website, and however she wants to brand herself. Okay. That would really help.
Because that was the other question. She said, is there any organizations or groups to join?
Yeah, I would say places like that.
Model Mayhem.
Yeah.
And third and final question. Oh no, you got more?
Sorry, and there are agencies too that would help her out if she wants to do that. I chose to be independent so that I could have control of my own everything. But it's good to have representation like that because they will protect you, and you can often get more money. And sometimes, you know, when you deal with people like I do by yourself and you're female, people try to wheel you to get lower, you know. So, and then if you're too nice, you know, I don't need I say more.
They try to take advantage.
Yeah. Right. So you got to be tough. So sometimes if somebody else can do it for you, it's just better. And sometimes it even looks just more professional.
Well, yeah, because you take your personal emotions out of it and then just let your agent take care of all the business.
Yes.
That's a good thing. Hope you got a lot of that one, Mona. And your her third and final question, how has your training and exercise routines changed over the years of training?
A lot. A lot and not a lot. Actually, I used to train for size and power, you know, because I was competing, so I needed to be bigger and fuller. And I'm actually a small girl. I'm only 5'1", and started at like 101 my first show. Crazy. And my last show is at 128. So on my frame though, that's actually a lot of muscle, because competing, no body fat,
you make me feel tall.
So I've been training now for like 29 years. So now I'm not the same age as I was. So it's just a little harder on my joints and stuff. So I've streamlined it. But here's the thing. Training in the beginning, like for power and strength and doing the foundation stuff, like from, I say, the Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, one of the I lived off that thing.
Me too.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. And to this day, I still say it's one of the best teachers. So having that foundation, I found you can do anything because you have a foundation later on, and you will respond. Your body will respond. So I don't know how old she is, or what she's done, or what she's exactly hoping to do, but the younger a start you have, the better. But still, anybody I have noticed at any age will respond, if no matter what age they are, if they start training.
Yeah.
So it's just better. You have more advantage if you start younger. So of course. So I actually was training for size. I got very big at one point, and life threw me a curveball, which actually was a blessing, because I would have been big for the stage, and because women bodybuilders, that's, bodybuilders, we're extremists. Whatever it takes, we're gonna do it. Yeah. And so because it threw me that curveball, I was steered away from getting
too big.
Yeah, and I know I would have wanted to for winnings, but not wanted to kind of personally. So I liked that I had to I wasn't training to be massive, and so I got to more shape my body, but yet I was still training very hard. So you can still train very hard and not have to be massive.
So when you first started out, did you do a lot of powerlifting moments, like the big three?
That's what gave me size, because I had a hard time putting size on it. I'm literally, I had the legs. It was your typical girl body, like the very round bottom, tiny top. Yeah. So it took me a long time to get biceps. So yes, and I found heavy training, especially heavy training on the body parts that were stubborn, I built the quickest size. So, and the side, with my legs and my butt, back when, I used to hold weight like a lot of women do, and had a hell of a time trying to get weight off of it. And I found more higher reps and not quite as heavy helped trim them. But I still like to train heavy because I had that strength there genetically. And at my highest point, I'd fall through the floor if I did this now, but I could squat 315. And I'm in perfect form. So powerlifting form. And even my stance was shoulder width. Okay. I didn't even go real wide.
Yeah, how many sets and reps did you do with say 315?
I did 6, only one, but 6 reps and ass to the floor. I'm very proud of that. Yeah. If there was social networking back then, I'd have owned it.
None of that quarter rep shit, right?
No.
Yeah.
And actually, just interesting you say that. What I found, I know they teach, even in the literature for personal training, to just go, was it?
Like they say quarter rep,
yeah, it's crazy. That on your knees and on your joints, what that does, I couldn't do it. I found that if you go right down, it kind of makes you be able to dig in with your feet and bring yourself up, so you can explode up. Mm-hmm. But if you go here, your knees are going, that's what I believe and found.
Yeah, I agree with that. The way me and Damien train, we do it like pyramid. So we go heavily increasing on our third, fourth sets, our heavy sets, and then drop down.
Right.
Is that what you kind of incorporate now?
Now not so much, because I'm training differently, because I'm training more reps, but still intense. Like before, when I did more reps, I'd be lighter, and heavy reps would be less reps. Did I just say that right? What did I say?
Yeah, no, you did right.
Okay. So now I try to go as heavy as I can and as many reps as I can. So it's different. But I need to do different things. You know, your body does get used to certain things. In 28 years of training, you got to shake it up. I also found that, and I've done this for a while, and it works for me, every 3 months, I change my program. So, and I also must say, in regards to diets, okay, you know, people, this diet, every diet works. But you cannot, I don't care what diet it is, live on the same diet all the time. So there is my advice.
Okay. That's actually really good advice. Thank you. Here's my question to Rhonda. This is from Vulcan Kaneki. What's your favorite body part to train?
Oh, it used to be legs, and now, God, I hate to say the age thing, but it's a little harder for me to do the legs. Now, I still have legs and butt, of course. Just like, okay, girls love training the lower body, guys love training the biceps,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
So now, you know what, believe it or not, I don't really have a favorite. I like training my whole body. So it's like my whole body as one body part, if that makes any sense. Like there's no favorite.
Now, what about your favorite part on the look? I'm taking that, what's your favorite body part to look at, like aesthetically wise? Like what do you admire the most? Actually, we'll expand that. What do you like when you see a guy that you've never known? You're like, oh damn, he's got a nice
calves.
Okay, and now how about a woman? She's got a nice
butt.
I knew you were gonna say ass.
I'm not a lesbian, but it's
girls.
It's just like
See,
I don't
calves.
know.
Guys, if you don't train legs, train your fucking calves.
Can
right?
I say something?
Go right ahead. Tell me.
Okay, so yes. Train your legs. Here, there's nothing worse, and I mean no disrespect to the people who do this. I shouldn't say nothing worse, but I just think it would be better if you would train your whole body as a whole and not neglect it. Even if you respond, here's the thing that I also did when, and it worked for me and when I was at my peak. Whatever I hated to train and whatever was the worst, most stubborn body part is what I worked on the hardest. So if you hate squatting, fucking squat, excuse my language. Like, because just, there's nothing worse than seeing a very obvious, I don't train this body part, I overtrain this body part.
I can't believe you just swore. No, I'm just kidding. This is I swear all the time. If I don't swear, there's something wrong with me. All right, what do you think about the future of female bodybuilding? Does the future in competitions, wing of strength? I've never heard of that.
We haven't heard of wings of strength?
No, but does the future in competitions, wings of strength, in sessions or in, oh, that's a different one. Okay, is the future in competitions, wing of strengths?
Is there a future?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, I think he has, from my understanding, now I am not, I'm taking this as what I understand and know. This might not be exactly as it is. Okay, so, but he has taken, given the money for the women to be able to continue bodybuilding, so the bigger women, I'm actually glad you brought that up. So for those who don't know, the women's bodybuilding as we know it, like the Miss Olympia crown, has been removed from the sport, which is very hurtful, and I can't believe it.
I absolutely agree.
The thing, and I'm going out on a limb saying this, but, and again I say this not to diss anybody or to, just it's what it is. But to not have the women be thanked for all the years of service, and to all the other categories that are out there now, all rooted for women's bodybuilding. And I know, yes, of course the women got super huge, and maybe it's not great for the general public, but has the sport ever been for the general public? And if you're trying to make it for that, I still don't understand why the need to kill the women's bodybuilding part. Kind of just leave it alone, and yes, it's brilliant to incorporate all these other categories, but why not just respect and enjoy and think a little harder of how to maybe market and keep the family the family.
Since you are a pro, are you still competing?
I am not.
Okay, so do you have any future plans on competing? Or
No.
Okay, so then you can say whatever you want, right? Because I have no IFBB Pro aspirations at all. So if I say, they're fucking disrespectful, then I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because you girls, especially you ladies, brought a lot into bodybuilding, especially in the 90s. 90s was huge.
Well, if you know who is, there's two people who actually know every detail of the history of the sport, and that's Bill Dobbins and Steve Winterstrom. So if you ever have questions and want to know, they're the source. And actually, women's bodybuilding, I think the first Miss Olympia might have been 79 or 80. I could be, again, I
don't even think it was called Miss Olympia then. It was something else before they ended up merging.
And women's bodybuilding has always had its share of knocks and not wanting to be accepted. But I think it started with it needed to stay in the realm of things, because it was, I think Joe Weider was trying to put it into the Olympics, and you couldn't, what's the word? Not be equal with men, so women had to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason, basically, from my understanding. I might be a little off, but that's what I understand.
If you're looking back at the early '90s female bodybuilders, right? Sorry, we're gonna get back to more of your question. if you look back in the early '90s bodybuilders, there's really not much difference between that and physique competitors today. Because physique.
Bikini, even.
Bikini's still a little different, but physique has got more of the hotter look, like the 90s, like Corey Everson.
Oh yeah.
Corey Everson, I don't even think she would be in physique right now, because she even had a softer look.
Right.
Back then.
Yeah. It's crazy how it's evolved, right?
Yeah, you ladies did a lot.
So you asked about the Wings of Strength, though. So what he has done is it would have been gone. So what he's done is saved for the women to be able to continue on and compete. Unfortunately, they won't be able to say, you are Miss Olympia, but bless their hearts, Wings of Strength has kind of saved the day. That's what I understand.
Okay.
And they offer crazy good prize money. I believe Hella is now the champion, Hella Trevino, and she's gotten a vehicle. She got, a Jeep or something, and I think there was probably, I'm sure there must have been prize money. And so, and just they're trying to, keep it alive.
Yeah.
Well,
and it needs to be.
Yes.
I mean, we have tuxedo competitions at the Olympia now.
Right.
It's like Chippendales, but they got rid of female bodybuilding. It blows my mind.
It blows my mind.
Okay. All right. I guess we do have a porn question. In sessions or in porn scene for the female bodybuilders?
Okay, what is the question though?
In sessions or in porn scene for the female bodybuilders? I guess if you're a female bodybuilder, what would you make more money? Porn scenes or in sessions? This is how I'm taking it. Probably
sessions, especially in today's world where everybody and their dog and cat can pick up a video camera and shoot whatever.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It used to be very specialized, you know, and you know, just like many things, the internet's changed so many things. You know, the porn industry will never be what it once was.
No. And that one was thanks to Rhonda. Please keep on ruling the bodybuilding scene, and thanks to you guys for supporting the female bodybuilding with these interviews.
Bless you. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. This will be over at Rough House TV, and I'll be contacting you so you know where you can watch this and see your question. So thank you, Vulcan. Those were really good questions. Now here's a question from Joe Pietro from Muscle Sport TV, and you just mentioned him. How is it working with the legendary photographer Bill Dobbins?
Oh my God, Bill's amazing. Bill is like sometimes misunderstood because he's eccentric as artists are, and he likes his things a certain way, but he has a very high standard, and he, if anybody in this earth respects and treats the women the way they should be, it's Bill. And he's never ever inappropriate. He's great at being a person, he's great at being a photographer, he's great at representing the women. And he literally lives, I think, for women's bodybuilding.
That's excellent.
Amazing.
So those were the questions from Muscle Sport TV.
Okay, and also, I think I just remembered who Vulcan was. Thank you. He's a huge fan, has been for a long time,
Oh, okay.
if I understand correctly. And Joe, of course, bless you.
Here's
Thank
the
you.
picture.
Oh, yes, yes.
And that is
And
him?
he is an artist, yes.
Oh, okay. So she knows you. Even
Yes.
better. So those were the questions from Muscle Sport TV. I've only got a few on my channel for you, but I had a ton of positive feedback about you.
Oh, thank you.
So we'll get to the
everybody.
questions. All right. This is from my buddy William Bowen, 05. Will asks, he would like to know what is your favorite holiday cheat meal is, and how do you work around it if the holiday falls during the week?
I love for holiday cheat meals. I guess just like what just passed, turkey and mashed potatoes and gravy and stuffing and all that. And I love cupcakes and icing. But I've actually just tried to cut sugar out of my diet, and I've done it for the most part successfully until recently. I'm like, I can't believe, I hate to admit that I've fallen a bit. I say fallen off the wagon. Believe it or not, I am a sugar addict, and so it's been a lifetime struggle trying to cut it out of my diet. And I have finally done it, and then I've kind of veered back a little bit, but not 100%. I'd say I've kept still 75% of it out. You'd be shocked how much sugar I did have. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I am. But hey, you know, we do what we can do. How do I try to
deal with it? You know Thanksgiving's coming up, which just
Christmas.
Passed. We have Christmas coming.
Yeah.
I don't know what day Christmas.
I don't know how old he is, but I'm...
Will's like early 30s.
Okay. I'm going to be 49, December 11th. So I've had 49 years to get it together. So I think I finally have. And my goal in life is to defy all the odds and to get it right. I don't care how many freaking times I have to try, I'm going to do it. And you know what? Something that I have noticed that happens as long as I keep trying, even if I get better and better and better. Okay. So whatever it is. Yeah. So, and if I don't, well, I guess it's just not meant for me. So I do something else.
But you got Christmas coming up and Thanksgiving. If you're on a strict diet leading before then, Thanksgiving comes to hit, are you just like, okay, screw the diet, I'm just going to enjoy my day and then get right back on?
Pretty much.
Okay.
But
so
I actually don't. I do. I actually have learned, though, to enjoy not doing that. Like, I used to, like, and I understand it. Did it for years. But it's way easier to keep control of my food all the time. I find it, because it is like being an alcoholic,
Yeah,
you know?
it is.
Once you have that drink, you know, they give me the whole bar.
Yeah.
So, and I find it's the same with food.
Yeah.
And I find the more sugar I have, or the more stuff I shouldn't have,
The more you want.
yes, and the easier it is to have it. So it's not easy. I'm not even going to pretend.
Yeah. Me and you had that conversation about my iced coffee habit.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. I'll go weeks and weeks without having it, and then as soon as I have one, then I'm justifying, oh, I'm going to go get another one, and then before
Right.
you know it, I'm having 2 a day
Right.
again.
This is why I make goals for myself, like, because I don't compete. And that's the other thing that helps. That's why else I do photo shoots, is because this way I am accountable to something and accountable to myself to not screw it up, you know.
What's your goals right now? What is your mini goal?
I have a shoot coming up on the 5th, and so I do 2 types of modeling. I do the fitness bodybuilding, and I do adult modeling. I used to do the porn. I actually don't do porn anymore, like not hardcore porn. I looked porn up in the, the dictionary, like as it is in today's world, and apparently even nude is considered porn, which I find very interesting. I thought porn was like, here I've been doing it all this time, and I thought it was like the bang bang bang, you
Yeah.
know? But it's apparently just anything, even
Just
nude.
even being nude is porn?
Yeah, which I find,
Okay.
I don't know if I don't know. If
I thought it was
that
the
word.
action myself. Not
Yeah, so, but anyways, I don't do the action no more. I'm not interactive. I just now, you know, I'm getting older, but I still think the human body, especially when you take care of it, and a woman's body is beautiful. And so I love to try to be that, even if I'm not. I love to try to. You know what, women, they're like, they say they're peacocks, right? We love to like show off
Yeah.
and be, you know, do our hair and feel pretty. So I don't think that ever goes away, and it's kind of, and to feel sexy,
Yeah.
you know? But I don't know many women, even if they don't seem very sexual, that don't like to feel sexy.
Yeah. You like wearing a dress that makes them flattering.
Yeah, and they like people to say they look nice, and yeah. So this is how I'll keep my food and my training in control, is to be ready for these shoots and then make money for it.
Yeah. Okay, so you just stay with little goals.
Yeah.
And you're good, and that keeps you on track.
Yes, and some goals are bigger than others. At the end of this, I'll tell you a goal I'm going to commit to. I think we've touched on
I
it.
think we did. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
and then once I'm just, by the end of the shoot, I'll decide if I really want to blurb this out, because then I'm really committed.
You know, once you say it, that's accountability.
Absolutely.
That's why I absolutely love YouTube, is because you push it out there.
Yeah.
You're either going to do it or you're going to look like a complete asshole.
Right.
Yeah, I refuse to look like a complete asshole. That's why I watch what I say.
Yes,
You know?
very smart.
All right, and here's from No Filter Nina. She's huge lately into female bodybuilding.
Okay, I need it.
She's on a great transformation herself. She has her own channel. I highly recommend. Very positive girl.
Cool.
I think you'd enjoy watching her channel. So No Filter Nina asked, I'm not an adult man, but seriously, I want to ask her, was it a hard decision to become competitive, and were there obstacles? Also, was it a hard decision to decide to get into porn? So we'll go to those 3 first.
I like those questions.
Was it a hard decision to become competitive, and were there obstacles?
Absolutely not to become competitive, because I think I was too young to know better at the time. It was just, it kind of fell into my lap, and everything just kind of flowed. And the first show I did, actually wasn't married, we were engaged. But he's the one who kind of, you know, taught me the ropes and weaned me into it. And I still say to this day, if it weren't for him teaching me those roots, I wouldn't have become the bodybuilder I had. So today, becoming competitive, oh boy, I feel for you.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like, because there's so many. you know?
But I look at it the opposite. I think it's those IFBB cards are almost handed out. Like
Oh, absolutely. That's a different.
Compared to when you started.
But going into competing is
it's more
it's a little
mainstream
different
now.
than the card thing. That's how I'm looking at it.
Okay.
Yes, once you're competing, it's easier to get the card. But I think getting, what am I trying to say?
To stand out in front of it.
Yeah.
Many mothers.
Well, actually, yeah. So I must say, okay, it was easy because of those reasons, but no, it was absolutely life-changing because I was the shyest person on the face of the earth, no joke. But why I was able to stand on that stage was because of how hard I worked to get into that shape. And I did no drugs at that time. I was 19 years old, you know, and didn't have a bicep. And then, you know, I got biceps, and I'll tell you, something else that I noticed with training over the years and dieting. Each time the diet and the training gets a little easier. But the first show, man, it is so painful. I look back and I cried. Well, I think I cried every show at some point. But I mean, my body was like, no, you're not losing weight. You're not doing it. I am going to fight you. And I fought back, and I'll tell you, it was so painful. So, but once I stood, you know, it was like once I was doing that, and I was seeing the results, and it was like, I don't care how goddamn shy I am. I am going on that stage. If somebody told me I wasn't going on that stage, I'd have probably shot them.
Did you have a lot of butterflies going up on stage for the first time?
Terrified. I still have really bad stage fright.
Good anxiety?
Very bad. Yeah. And it's funny though, if I have to tell you, this is just a personality thing. I love going out dancing, for example. I love house music, okay? There can be 10 million people, and I'll stand up on the stage and I'll dance, okay? But here's the thing, nobody's expecting it. When people are expecting and all eyes are on me, and what's it, Tupac song, always on me, and then I'm like,
Yeah, you can't do that.
It's so hard. I remember even the last, you know, I did a few physique shows the last couple of years. The last one I did was the Fregnal of the Year, what is it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
God, time goes so fast. I can't remember.
15.
Yeah.
15.
So, and I remember being backstage and going, I'm not, why am I doing that? I thought I was going to faint. Like,
Now, you mentioned just being shy.
don't be
too.
nervous like that, though.
Yeah. I'd really like to see Nina commit and do a bodybuilding show.
Me too.
That'd be cool. All right, now you just mentioned you're shy and, you know, get anxiety and stuff, so this other question goes right with it. Was it a hard decision you decided to get into porn?
Again,
I mean, that must have been...
it wasn't. Do I want to tell the juicy details of this one?
Well, I mean, you have to like to fuck, but you have to be able to put it out there.
Absolutely. Well, okay, so here's the thing. This is again I'm a very strange person. I always loved sex, and for me, that was my confidence maker. Of all the things, it's so bizarre. It's like, honestly, like I was born kind of like that, if that makes any sense. But it was like, that empowered me. I always felt good when I had sex. It just worked with me. I never had to figure it out. It just kind of happened. And don't get me wrong, it was not, actually people, you can ask anyone who knew me before, well, up until I did it, if I would ever have done that, and they'd be like, that's not the same girl.
Really?
Yes. But kind of what happened, and again, I don't like to, well, let me put it like this. We all go through things in our lives, and people, we're different people at different times even, right? I was in a couple of situations where I don't think I kind of went, plus I'm just curious. I want to try it. And I'm always such a good girl. I want to just kind of try something risky. And I did. And what was crazy was so I made this decision, and of course I was single at that point, and
Take me to that moment, like right where you sitting on the couch and you're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
that's what I'm talking about right
That's
now.
what it was. You just like, fuck it.
Yep.
And then what? You just
And
picked up the phone call.
and I did think of my family and things like that. First of all, my parents had passed already.
Okay.
So I didn't, yeah, but you know what, and I mean this like 100 million %, I know, because I was very close with my parents. That's the other thing. People say, do you have regrets? I have no regrets whatsoever. Other than, I would never want to misrepresent my parents, and because they were so good to me, and I was brought up very right. That's the only thing that I don't like, because a lot of people have the misconception that if you do porn or certain things like that, you've got abuse issues or whatever. No. But I did have issues, not with my parents, perhaps with some men in my life, let's just say.
So do you think those issues pertain? Okay.
So, but would I have done it even if they hadn't? I really don't know. I'm not sure.
Now, how did you go about it? Did you like already know somebody you had in mind?
Oh.
Did you call somebody?
No, so here's the thing, the internet was very new at that point. That's how old I am. So anyways, I decided to look, and what are the chances, another chance thing, there's an ad, and it says, and this was, what are the chances that there was an ad that said, looking for a fitness girl? Yeah, and the people who were doing it usually shot, he was a white man whose wife was black, and usually they did interracial, but him with black women. But they decided they wanted to try with a fitness bodybuilder person. So I thought...
A menage a trois type of thing?
No,
You
like
wouldn't,
he wanted to be just with a fitness bodybuilder.
Okay.
So they were, I guess, going to maybe expand the realm.
Okay.
So I called, and they accepted me, and that's where it all began. And that's when, so just to make it clear, and I go, sometimes I'm proud of this, and then I go, am I being a bad example? I didn't mean to be, but
That's your life.
I kind of created history. I was the first female bodybuilder, pro athlete female bodybuilder that ever did hardcore porn. Fact.
Even before Denise?
Yes, and Denise never did boy-girl.
No, she never did, I know.
I strictly did
I love Denise Messina.
I strictly did boy-girl. And Yvette came after me. Those same people hired Yvette Bova after me.
Oh, okay.
So I was, and here's the thing though, I had decided at that time I was not competing. I did not know if I was ever going to compete again. I did not know if anybody and their dog would ever see that. You know, us sitting here today is like, who knew?
Yeah, you don't know.
I honestly did it for me, okay? Plus, it paid good money back then.
Okay.
So it was like a win-win situation. And I was very lucky because I think I was older, so I wasn't taken advantage of, because I understood life a little differently, right? And I was unique, you know? Like now there's a lot of bodybuilder porn, but there's still not a lot of bodybuilder boy-girl porn.
No.
And I just hit it at a time. I say everything's timing. Even if you're successful or not successful at something, the timing is...
We're gonna talk, because now I just had another video idea. So after this is the Rough House, the Q&A. You guys can jump over to Camerica Muscle, and you're gonna see me and her talk. We're just gonna have a casual conversation about whatever pops, like I told you, whatever we decide.
Yes.
And with this Q&A, you actually gave me a lot of ideas, because we're gonna talk about the universe, because me and you are very into the universe. So I think whether people watch that video or not, it's okay, because it's my channel and it's okay. So I enjoy...
It's my spotlight.
Yeah, goddammit. I like talking about the universe, because people don't realize how much it does reciprocate back, and you understand that. So we'll talk about that on Camerica Muscle. So if you guys are into spirituality and positive energy, jump over to Camerica Muscle and you'll see the conversation we're going to have over there about this. And this is the last question for the Q&A.
Okay.
Same, Nina, again. Did you use bronzer or tanning prior to competing? Thanks so much, love. The tanning question is because I want to see it once I reach goals, if it enhances the look of my muscle tone, and curious which is better, tanning or bronzer. Thank you, Nina.
Tanning and pro tan, or spray tan. Bronzer is kind of, I never use bronzer. It's never strong enough. So, so again, just to go back in the day, okay, we used to have to be standing there naked and with a spray bottle cold ass for hours.
Was that the Jan Tanner?
Actually, that was after Pro Tan. Pro Tan's actually been around forever. I'm giving them free publicity right now. But that is what I used. And it
Sponsor.
yeah. I still do. Actually, I have a spray tan on right now. I just, whenever I do anything public, I like to have some color. It's just, and I do tan easy though. But you always tan. But don't over tan, because now there is spray tan. But when you tan, it enhances the spray tan. So, and always do the strongest. No 1, 2, do the 3.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time for the Q&A.
You're welcome, thank you.
So this was the Q&A for Rough House TV. Again, guys, go over to Muscle Sport TV. Those were the questions asked there. You'll see Ask Rhonda Lee, and go to Camerica Muscle, and you'll see the questions there too.
Thank you.
ain't got enough time to work out. Who has the extra time to do that shit? How many times have you found yourself or somebody else saying the exact same thing? Well, we're all guilty. But guess what? You're probably doing stuff that's taking a lot of time when you fucking get around to it. And it ain't doing shit for you. Free tip of the day. HIIT versus steady state cardio. No contest. They're doing this. I'm in New York, so we have not had gym since like the second week of March. And Cuomo, our beloved Democrat liberal piece of shit governor upstate, said that even after phase 4, we're only in phase 2 right now, that he still doesn't see the gyms, theaters, and museums opening up. I don't really give a fuck about the museums and the theaters, but I do want the gyms to open up, because I only have a very small amount of stuff in my house, and it is a pain in the ass, and it gets very boring doing the same shit over and over and over again. But when I do things, I try to do like HIIT type of things, and you can even implement this into fucking weight training with light weights and time under tension, but it's more for a cardio kind of thing. I'll give you an example. Sprint 20 to 30 feet, then do a brisk walk 20 to 30 feet, or even do a rest sprint. Basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the heart rate up, and then you bring it down, you get the heart rate back up, but you're doing that rest in between so you can really bust it out, but for short periods of time. You can also do it on the treadmill, where you're going to run 30 seconds and then walk 30 seconds. But it's a little tougher sometimes, because then you got to start doing the beep beep beep, doing all the speed things like that. That's why just go out in front of your house. If you got a track near your house, you could be done in 15 minutes doing this. You can do how many rounds of doing 20 feet, 30 feet, 30-foot sprints, 20, 30-foot sprints, walk for a little while, do another one, basically the same amount of space and a time that you're doing. So you could run for 20 seconds in a sprint, and then walk for 20 seconds, run for 20 seconds, and walk for 20 seconds. My son and I did that on the street when I was helping him out getting in shape for summer camp when he played high school football. He was an offensive lineman, so he was a big kid, heavy kid, and he went to summer camp where they did 2-a-days, and there were the skill players, who were the quarterback, the running back, the wide receiver, the quick, thin kids. They all were throwing up while they were doing these 2-a-days, and my son never threw up once. And it wasn't because he was in better shape than them all year long. He prepared for the camp. He got his body in good shape for the camp while these guys were sitting around playing Xbox. And that's why they couldn't take it. They were puking. And then they were, it was hot. This is in fucking July and August where they do the 2-a-days. So I got him into shape by doing sprints outside, and then I got him into the gym with me, and we were doing the treadmill like that. I do have another thing called the dead mill. I will save that for another video. But that is the real, if you really want to fucking get ready for like a vacation or something, you want to look fucking good, the dead mill is the way to go. And it is, I got it from a couple of different players in the NFL that I had interviewed about training camp and how they got ready for it after an off season of basically fucking, rehabbing and letting the bruises heal. You don't want to kill yourself during the off season. So how the fuck do you get ready for 2-a-days in the heat? Dead mill was the answer. So I will put that up on another one, but this is basically just kind of like a tip. HIIT versus steady state cardio. If you do HIIT cardio for 12 minutes total, even with rest, I bet you're going to get more than if you ran around the block for a half hour straight at the same pace. Try it and let me know what you think.
Hey guys, it's Cheyenne Hacker, aka Guns and Weights on Instagram, and you're watching Muscle Sport TV.